Going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. And I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, commenting, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. I also want to remind all of you out there how awesome and amazing you are. If you're having a rough day, just remember there is light at the tunnel. Take it from someone who's dealt with some issues with self-image and rough days and everything. There is a better day coming, I promise you. But if today's a rough day, not a rough day, I just want to contribute to making your day better. And hopefully I can entertain you today with this comic book review, guys. And as some of you who may visit this channel frequently, we have been covering Absolute Batman. We just got done with the Victor Freeze story, and we're about to head into the Bane story, so to speak, with issue 9 of that series. But what I wanted to do is that there's been some one-shots in connection to the Absolute Universe. And there's already a Absolute Batman Annual 1 that I'm looking to get to cover here at the channel. There's an Arkham special that shows the history of this version's Joker, and I'll most likely be getting that issue too because it relates to the story that we're covering here at the channel specifically. But what we're doing today is we're covering one of the first earlier one-shots to be connected with this universe is Absolute Evil. Like I said, it's a one-shot, so it's only this one issue. Written by Al Ewing. The art is Giuseppe Cumincoli, I believe. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Giuseppe. And Stefano Nessi. Giuseppe and Nessi. Wow. Also did the cover of this particular issue. Now, there may not be much action per se in this particular issue, but it does set up a lot of different stories. It's a jump on for new readers and kind of giving us a direction where they're looking to drive this Absolute Universe into. Now, at the time of this recording, even though we're not exactly caught up to date with the Batman story, there's Absolute Batman, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute Martian Manhunter. Each of their heroes are absolute versions also. This universe is completely different in a lot of different ways. This universe was created from dark side energy, and it's really set up to not really give the heroes much breathing space or days of hope or humanity. The inmates have taken over the asylum here in the Absolute Universe, and we're going to kind of touch on some of the past of this universe and its current conditions now. And I will say, this book, you find a hero that you like from the Absolute Universe. I'll think you'll like it. And it's not taken away from anything the main DC heroes have done before. Obviously, we've become fans because of those characters. But if you're looking for something a little bit more wild, a little bit more darker, a little bit more that our heroes may not make it out of this unscathed, this is definitely the universe for you. I've been contemplating picking up Martian Manhunter, Absolute Martian Manhunter, because the art in that is crazy wild, and I'm liking the story that it's telling there. But I digress. Let's start off. You see 1951 here, Hawkman, Absolute Hawkman. But he explains how he hasn't given up his identity. He hasn't told anyone his identity, his secrets. But now that the government is looking for his information, um, he's being made to believe that he's going to reveal his identity for the greater good, and we'll see him later on. We also pick up with the absolute version of Green Arrow here, Oliver Queen, and he's talking to Roy, right, about um, that he has to use his money in order to help those people in the world that cannot help themselves. And he's glad he built the bunker that he did, which has like supercomputers, the archery range that we've seen, a convertible he designed himself for the ejector seats. Ejecto seats! And he becomes kind of like irate with uh, his friend Roy because of like the implication of being told he doesn't have to do any of this stuff, but he wants to, and it deals. This issue deals with a lot of the corruption of the heroes that have already begun and is continuing to happen. The corruption of good people not doing anything to help those that can't help themselves. And I think that comes across in Green Arrow's anger here. We pick up with the character Hector Hammond here, who's attending a meeting, and we're going to find out soon enough what this meeting is for. It's being run by Veronica Cal, National Security Advisor. We have Raja Ghul here. We have the Joker here. Eleanor Thorne. Eleanor Thorne. We know Ebert Thawne as a villain of the Flash in the main universe, right? But Eleanor Thorne here is kind of one of the main villains of Absolute Flash. We also going to see Brainiac with Mirror Master later on in here. And yeah, all right, I believe I mentioned everybody. And what this is doing for readers basically is showing that each of these people are very high and powerful and rich and have many, many resources to basically do whatever they want. If they wanted to come in here, and I'm talking obviously in the premise of the comic book reality, right? If they wanted to send their resources in here and rob everything in my little home, subsidized home here, uh, in my little freaking uh, hole in the wall hood apartment here, they would be able to do it in front of police and nothing can get done because of the power they wield. You know what I mean? Real power is anything that you want to do gets done without repercussions of negativity coming your way. That's real power right there, right? And it all comes with what it's all about the money. And so we talk about how there is a character here by the name of the Sandman, all right, and the cat, both of different times in the past, right? Decade apart in these cases. Sandman had access to a gas that he created that seemed to have been stolen when he was murdered, and the government happened to have that same designed gas later on in the this reality. So, oh gee, I wonder what the government did to this guy, right? And then the Ted Grant, the Wildcat here, he started off trying to clear his name of murder, and then as he moved up the chain, he eventually got bribed to go into retirement and open up his a boxing school, his boxing training program that were usually associated with him, the gymnasium, so to speak, right? And the point of bringing that up, oh, and we also talk about who we got here, Iron Monroe, okay? winded up getting something done to him through some freak accident, and they couldn't do nothing with him. He wasn't going to cooperate, and somehow died to an experimental government gas during testing that was supposedly at the wrong place, but at the place where he was at. So yeah, what an accident, right? So what she's saying is that occasionally there might be an outlier in history that try to stand up to the bigger, to the bigger threats, and the threats shut that down. The government seems to be in on this, on major world leaders, businessmen. So this lets me know that, as much as, because in the main DC universe, these heroes from the past continue to be heroes. All right, they weren't bribed off or anything like that, or accidentally killed by government agencies or whatever. Um, so it will go to show you that the corruption of people has already been dug deep in for a long time here. But what has happened is, since the arrival of Wonder Woman, the arrival of Superman, the arrival of Batman, even though they're taking their bumps and bruises, so to speak, they're doing things that these other people from the past weren't able to do. People that are designed to and trained to go against these type of threats. You know what I mean? Like a peacemaker agent, not taking like not taking like right actually writing out a positive report in the regards of Superman. Cops in Gotham not shooting Batman when they have a clear drop on him. They're not taking any action on him. These people are inspiring others. Wonder Woman in her first adventure, uh, cops and everything were asking her what to do, right? So this was some of the things that this Kale was saying. And she wants to know why that seems to be happening. Why is it they're inspiring more people lately? Why? How is that happening? Because eventually it's going to start cracking the armor that these folks have normally, right? And they're really Superman taking out the Lazarus pit, so to speak. Batman here. Of course, we got Green Lantern, Flash, Martian Manhunter. All these things coming at, they're calling them gateway events, okay? And Kale here wants to combine these folks and their resources. So if the Joker's having a problem with Batman, he's going to call Eleanor Thawne and get some of her resources, and vice versa. And Ra's al Ghul, if he needs the Joker's help, the Joker's going to help him, and Brainiac and all that, right? So initially, Hammond is like, I'm good, man, because I got this. I don't need anyone really setting up anything for me. I can do this on my own. But what we have, as he's done saying that, is Green Lantern, Green Arrow, being brought in by Hawkman from the first panel, but that was in 1951. What's going on with him here? How is he still here? So already, again, the corruption of the hero, right? The corruption of the hero being gone, eliminating him. Done. Green Arrow is done in this universe. Now, supposedly, there's going to be an absolute Green Arrow title. I don't know how that's going to be unless it's a prequel series or someone else is going to take up the mantle of Green Arrow, so to speak. And so basically what we have here is an acceptance, almost an acceptance of something, but Eleanor Thorne is still kind of like unsure about this whole thing. The Joker stands up and starts talking. this is where we see Brainiac also in on this call, and Raj Al Ghul defending him, saying he doesn't joke or whatever like that, so let's take him serious. What he begins to say is that there's this particle that they found that is basically guiding how everything is going. Initially, they used to be this thing, a belief in which this good particle was found, but basically they found the omega particle. Okay, Joker did and his people, and basically he's using this particular particle as the reason on why they should team up. He's not saying to them be friends or let's be besties. He's not saying that. He's saying that because of this particle, this omega particle, it's giving rise to villains like them. That's why they've been so successful. But what they need to do is form together, form a league, to form a Justice League. These motherfuckers just created the Justice League in the absolute universe. And if you don't believe that, believe the whole of justice, the whole of injustice. What do we call this? The Injustice League? But we would call them in the Injustice League in our reality. But in this reality, they consider themselves the Justice League. And they come together. They all begrudgingly, on some level, acknowledge, if we're not going to do it as friends, forget friends. Let's do it to continue basically dominating. You want to make more money? Let's make more money. You want to be diabolical? Let's continue to be diabolical. And as they're pulling out poor Oliver here, like he was just some. After the conference, basically, we get Brainiac with Mirror Master here, and Brainiac seems to be collecting weaknesses of everyone, but he doesn't know the weakness of the Joker yet. He doesn't have information or leverage on him yet. So he wants the leverage on him. He's gonna continue to employ the help of Mirror Master for that. And before Brainiac finishes up, he also mentions how this Justice League needs one more member, and they make a call. They make a call, man. And the final member of the Justice League, Lex freaking Luthor. And that's where this issue ends. Now, I think that this was a pretty nifty issue here of getting everything together, kind of seeing where everyone is at with their stories in the absolute universe, and gives you time to think about if you want to maybe pick those books up, some of the ideas and concepts of those books, and whether you're like collecting one of them and maybe you found out that you collect another one of these books. Whatever the case may be, I would just ask of you. I don't know about the other titles. I'm hearing great things about them. I'm primarily concentrating on the Batman book. But I think that you should pick up one of these titles and give it a go and see where you think. And eventually it's going to lead into the collision of the absolute universe and the main DC universe, obviously. But only time will tell when that happens. Give me your thoughts on this issue. If I was going to rate this comic book, I'd rate this an 8.5 out of 10, despite even the lack of action in it, because it sets up so much and arises so many questions that you almost get giddy thinking about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God. Those are my thoughts about this issue. Again, give me your thoughts. Did you agree, not agree? And until next time, peace.